Okay, we are recording. So welcome you guys, new hires, to our Prospect Call Training 101. I am a super big Uber nerd when it comes to phone calls. So this is like my jam. Yeah, it's my jam. I was gonna say bread and butter, which I really like a lot too, but jam also works. So I've got this really great, I don't know why, I just love quotes. I'm a nerd on top of that. So the ladder of success is best climbed by stepping on the rungs of each opportunity. And the reason why I love this is because with what we do as leasing agents, we have to look at everything as an opportunity. We are that customer service person. So for us, it's so important that, you know, no matter what you're doing, something happens, the phone rings, that we look at that as an opportunity to provide whoever's on the other line with just super superior customer service. Super superior. I kind of like that. So starting with the pledge, superior customer service, what we were just talking about, this is absolutely number one for what we do as leasing agents, being that first person that people see, the first contact. Usually, you know, we're the first ones to answer the phone. So this is super important for us to make sure that we're getting, and think about the best customer service you've had, and then think about how somebody could have taken that to the next level. That's what we want to do here at Horizon. That's why Horizon's the best. We have all of these competitors and nobody has anything like this. The pledge is our secret back pocket weapon that we use against, you know, our comps that we're trying to fight crime. So market leaders is next. And this is knowing your property. So this is what you have to start out doing. You just have to memorize your property. Use your leasing kit. Make sure all of that is filled out with your community information so that you know everything about your property. You can be that expert. And then as you start to know your property, you're going to expand into your market and you're going to start shopping your comps. You'll start, you know, secret shopping over the phone, which I highly recommend doing. Call your comps, pretend to be somebody looking for an apartment, and listen for what they do well, what they don't do well. Like, oh, that sounds horrible, I'm never using that on a call. That's going to be really good insight into how we can be so much better than them, how we're better. And it's a competition a little bit as a market leader. I mean, if they succeed and, you know, they increase their rents, that means we get to. So on some extent, you know, we're not enemies, but I don't know about you guys, I'm super competitive. So like, I want to kick the crap out of them. Like, I want to make sure that I'm the best. And that's our goal. And then taking pride in our exceptional property appearance. This is with everything on site. You know, I've had people drive by and be like, oh yeah, I drove by, it looks really nice, so I pulled in. That's the goal. So pick up trash as you walk along. It's touching every single fence post, going to the back of the property where you don't normally tour, but still making sure that everything looks great. You have no idea when Greg or even your prospects are going to drive around your community before they come and stop into the office. That's something I do on my site visits, is I do a quick little sneak through the back of the property. And then exercising extraordinary fiscal responsibility. Phone calls are extremely expensive. One prospect call costs $15,000, and that's a crap ton of money. That's more money than I have. So just knowing that one good phone call can do so much in the budget for us, being super fiscally responsible, or just like, you know, knowing what your specials are, knowing what you can offer, knowing what you can't offer. You know, you never want to make that kind of a mistake where you promise something that we can't offer, and then we end up having to do it. So the pledge, it was built in 2011 by our 4 partners. This is what we do. This is any situation that you come across, you can refer back to this. So to start, and I talked with Vanessa about this already, just to start, making sure you memorize it. Have this down. And, you know, Jessica's going to quiz. I know Nina's going to quiz people on the pledge. So knowing it first is going to be super important. And then once you know it, you can actually start using it and having this as a tool. So moving along, positive imagery with language. This is so important for me, and I am huge with just like no words, basically, is what we have here at Horizon. So we don't say the word unit. That's a filthy U word. I hate that word. And then we've got a C word that I don't like either, complex. We don't have tenants, we have residents. Service requests, this one's hard because of Entrata, but we don't have work orders. Our tenants are not ordering us to do work in their apartment. Our residents are requesting a service that we provide. And then employees or staff, we have team members, we have teammates. So we have basically family that we're with at all times. So for this, you know, just remembering that the little things matter too. And if you say one of these words, you don't think it's a big deal, and they probably use these words and they don't think it's a big deal, but it's a subconscious effect that it has on somebody. So by just saying a better word, we're already being market leaders. We're already giving them great customer service because we're not telling them they're going to live in one of our units. We're explaining to them that they're going to live in one of our apartment homes. So I encourage you guys, if you hear that U word or any of the bad words, make sure you make a big deal about it. At my old property, and this happened back when I was new too, I would say the U word, I would say unit, and everybody would be like, ah! And it would just be such a big deal that I would be on the phone and I'd be like, and it would be a freak out moment. So make it a freak out moment at your property, you know, like make it this thing that, you know, you guys are striving to be better for. And I could talk about this all day. I mean, I could talk about all of this all day. I could talk all day. So
I just had a quick question for you. What would be a good alternative for unit? I know it's something I slip up and say sometimes. We use home for the cottages, or cottages, of course. But yeah, what is a better alternative for that?
Apartment home, all of that is so much better than a unit, just because, and again, like I said, I used to say the word unit, but you just picture a garage or a storage unit that has dust and leaves at the bottom, and that's where you put the shit that you don't use. So apartment, home, house. I know you guys have duplexes too. All of that's perfect. Yeah. So the 5 call must-haves. With the scorecard, the phone scorecard, I apologize in advance. I created that. So I know it's a little hefty, but there's a reason that we have it weighted for the different things. So these are our 20-point questions. These are the 5 number one things we have to make sure we do every single time, no excuses. And the way I picture it is, like I said, every phone call is worth $15,000 when you factor in your electricity, your phone bills. We pay Jive. We pay, you know, for your paychecks, for marketing. Google alone, a lot of our properties are paying $3,000 a month. Not to mention off-campus housing is usually about $1,400 a month. Abodo, another $500. Apartments.com, $700. So when you're adding up all of these things that we pay for, one phone call is easily worth $15,000. So your goal is to make sure that you get all 5 of these things, and think about it is that if you don't, you're kind of losing $15,000. So that's why they're so important. Name. We get that early on in the call so that, one, we can continue to use it, which is another thing on the scorecard, but that builds rapport with people when you use their name. Everybody likes their own name. Like, it's just a thing. Everybody likes hearing their name, and it builds that trust with them. So that's why we get on early on in the call, so that we have time to use their name, phone number, and email. It's not good enough to just get one or the other. We have to make sure we're getting both. When we're doing quality follow-ups, we want both. It's quality follow-up if we have both. So we're not always calling and leaving a message, or we're not always emailing and never getting a response. You know, we have the arsenal to do both. And then determining needs, it's really about the fact that we offer a customer-centered approach. Yes, we have 10 apartments available, not that we need to tell them that, but the reason why is because we ask them questions about what they're looking for. So instead of telling them I have 10 options, I can be like, you know, I only have 2 spots available. This is what I have, because you only have 2 spots that are going to work for them. So determine their needs and then give them the options that fit those needs, rather than, I hate making decisions. I don't want a bunch of options. I want somebody, we're talking about lunch, give me 3 options. I'll tell you which one I want to go to. It's just how I operate. It's going to be the same for apartments, food, anything. And then asking for the tour. You have to ask. It's just one of those things. We want to Show them the community. They don't know what they're going to get until they come here. Yes, they can see pictures. That's not the same thing. Yes, we have virtual tours. It's always so different. And you guys will know as you do tours, people will come in and be like, oh yeah, I did the virtual tour online, but it's so much bigger in person, or it looks so different. So that's really, we have to ask for that tour. It's one of our number one goals. Moving on to those like next level questions. So these are 10 points each. So these are like the next most important things. Traffic source, again, we spend a buttload of money in marketing. So we can't rely on Entrata to tell us the correct traffic source, because a lot of times they come through as property website, but who the hell just automatically knows somebody's property website? Like nobody. So you have to make sure that we're asking and clarifying, and they're like, oh, I found you online. Instead of saying, okay, say, oh yeah, do you remember if that was Google or apartments.com? Just give them a couple of options and then they'll pick one. So that way they'll be like, oh, actually, I think it was Zillow. So we just want to make sure we're getting that correct traffic source so we know where we can put our money and where we should not put our money. And then we want to build value. They've called a few apartments most likely, right? So they think they know what we include, but really they might not know what we include. So we have to build that value. We have to tell them what's included before we just give a price. And also you should get those previous number one five things before you ever give price. Get their name, phone number, and email before you give them a price. Otherwise, click, you don't get it. They can hang up as soon as they get the price. So we want to make sure we can follow up. But it's as simple as saying, you know, obviously determining their needs. What floor plan are you looking for? When are you looking to move? Do you have a pet? That way you can wrap it all up and say, absolutely, I've got that 4-bedroom, fully furnished room. It comes with a private bathroom. We include water, sewer, garbage services, electricity, and internet. And then including your puppy, you're only paying for $675 a month. You can wrap it all up. You're telling them everything that's included rather than just being, oh yeah, it's $675. They're going to assume that some things are included or that some things aren't. So we just have to be super clear. And then we have to build rapport with people. This is just being somebody's friend, finding that common ground, letting them know that there's a difference between you and other leasing agents, right? It's not just you as a leasing agent and them as a customer. Building rapport with somebody shows them you're a real person, you're an expert, you know what it is that they're looking for because you've taken the time to find that common ground, get to know them. They're going to trust you so much more when you build rapport. And I feel like this is just something across the board we can always improve on. And my favorite question to ask to build a rapport, or at least start building rapport, is where are you moving from? So it seems like, yes, it's still related to apartment searching, so it's not like totally out of left field, but you're asking them and you're going to find out if they're currently living in the area, if they're currently maybe out of town, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I'm moving from Georgia. Wow, that's a really big move. What's the cause of the move, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, well, I just got offered a job that's relocating me. Congratulations, that's really exciting. Where's the new job at? So you can build off of that. Congratulate them. You know, like, oh, I just got accepted to Purdue. Oh, congratulations, that's super exciting. So that's why we build rapport. That question's super easy. Another thing that you can get out of that is if they are living in town, ask them where they're living. You know, what apartment community are they living at and why don't they like it? So you know what they're looking for, what they don't like, and you can reassure them that we don't have that issue here. So that's always a really great one. Thanking them. It's as simple as being like, absolutely, thank you so much for giving us a call. I'll talk to you soon. Because you want to cherish your leads. It takes so long to find a customer, and it can take only seconds to lose one. So anything we can do to just show them that we appreciate their time. And then urgency. It should be in everything that we do. You know, you should be urgent in your emails, urgent in your Craigslist ads, urgent in the POP that's around the office, and you should feel that urgency. You should know you're going to fill up. You should totally just know you have the best property, have that passion to create that urgency so that they know. Because in this day and age, we all want to live or buy that product or do whatever everybody else is doing. It's just human nature. We want to fit in. Like I went out and bought Nikes after going to the University of Oregon because literally everybody at the rec center wore Nikes. And that's just how people are nowadays. They want to live. They want to be at the cool place. So be that cool place. Questions so far? No? Okay. Too much insight into my life, clearly. Prospect calls, all the small things. These are the 5-point questions, but they still really matter. And that's really going from kind of mediocre to amazing. Like we just want to really set the bar super, super high. So that's, again, kind of why I created this little checklist thing for phone calls, is to make sure that we're doing everything we can. So introduction, number 1. We answer after the second ring and before the third ring. We never answer on the first ring, ever. That's like, wow, that was a little too quick. You know when your friend answers the phone, you swear it didn't even ring? And you're like, whoa, that was like super quick. What were you doing? Like just waiting? So second ring, we answer that call, because 1, that gives you time to grab a guest card, grab your leasing kit, have all of the information that you need in front of you to be prepared. And then 2, it gives you a second to take a deep breath and smile before answering. That's going to give you that clear voice. It's a great day at Chase Village. This is Claire. How may I help you? That's a clear introduction. I'm smiling. I sound super friendly. It's my phone voice. Repeat their name. Again, we talked about this. We get the name early on so we can use their name. And a good rule of thumb is to try and say their name 3 times in the call. Sometimes saying it a little bit more is too much and it gets kind of awkward. Like, thanks, Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, when are you looking to move, Rebecca? Do you have any pets, Rebecca? And then you're just like, that lady is a little creepy. So you just want to aim for 3 times. That's plenty. Who the floor plan, who the apartment's for, the floor plan, and the move-in date. A lot of times people just like say these things as soon as you answer the phone. So make sure you're listening, but it's okay to clarify that that's what they're looking for. Like, hey, just clarifying, is this apartment for you, or do you have any other roommates? Sounds like you're looking for a 4-bedroom. So I have 4-bedroom, 2 baths. All you have to do is just make a mention and you're going to get that checklist for the scorecard. Now, website, amenities, and offering to send an email, I roll those into one. I don't want to spend 5 minutes talking about our website. I also don't want to spend 10 minutes talking about the 100 of amenities that we offer. These are great things to mention. However, we're not expecting you to just go off for 30 minutes on a phone call. That's if you did every single amenity, talked about everything they find on the website. It's a lot. So if you haven't already gotten the email, what I would do is say, absolutely, what's your email? I'm going to send you just a follow-up email. It's going to include a link to our website. From there, you can apply online and you can take a peek at the amenities. We've got a really great pool fitness center, so you'll get to see some photos of that and get started on your application. I highly recommend. So you want to wrap it all up into one. That way you're not super checklisty. Saying, oh, have you seen our website? We've got 2 pools, 2 hot tubs, 2 24-hour fitness centers, a sand volleyball court, 2 basketball courts. We don't need to do that. Also, I would always say, don't say, oh, can I send you an email? Just offer. Just say, hey, what's your email? I'm going to send you a follow-up. That way you can forward all of this information over to your roommate or your husband, whoever it is they're talking to. I've never had somebody turn me down if I ask that way. If you ask awkwardly, they'll feel awkward giving it to you. So that's my rule of thumb there. And then asking for a specific appointment. We never want to say, oh yeah, just come in anytime. Yeah, we take tours, just walk in. We want to show them we're busy. We want to show them that, we've got a bunch of tours. We're leasing up super quick. Let's set your appointment. And then no distractions. It's very obvious on the phone when I listen to calls, because yes, I listen to your calls. It's super obvious that when somebody's distracted. So again, answer before the 3rd ring, after the 2nd ring, to give yourself time to finish whatever conversation and get prepared. Crawl under your desk if you have to. I've done that so many times. And yes, to everybody around you, it looks weird, but does the person on the phone know that you're crawling under your desk? No. Hold time. Now, our maximum hold time for Horizon is 30 seconds. I'm not a fast runner. So when I was a new leasing agent, for me to put somebody on hold, run across the office to my managers to ask a question was like not enough time. And so go above and beyond and be okay. Don't be afraid to say you're new and just say like, absolutely, that is a great question. I'm sorry, I'm still new. Do you mind if I give you a call back later today or in the next hour with that answer? That's one, you're not risking putting somebody on hold for over 30 seconds and getting that like marked down. They don't have to listen to your crappy hold music or that stupid voice that just goes in a repeat. And then 3, you get to do a follow-up. Follow-up is our goal. So you kind of get a check mark 1 follow-up automatically doing that. Positive language, you guys are experts there now. We talked about this. Enthusiasm. They don't know who you are over the phone. They've never met you. So we want to show our enthusiasm because we kind of have to overplay it a little bit. Like that's why I have a phone voice. It's not because that's my fake voice. It's because I am trying to really show them a warm, welcoming, warm, welcoming tone. If I just talk in my regular voice, they're not going to feel like I'm super friendly or warm. So I go a little extra with it. And I feel like that's totally okay. So the goal is to, get all of these things, but also get them excited to come and meet you on your tour. Don't just, they want to come and check out your apartments, but we want them to really feel like they're your friend. Like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun talking to Claire over the phone. I'm looking forward to coming in for that tour. Like we talked about my pet. She invited my pet on the tour. Like I'm bringing Fluffy with me. Fluffy's excited to get a dog treat. So we want to create that excitement for them. And then no rushing. This, it's a big decision for people, right? Like who's all apartment hunted? Is any of us like search for an apartment? Yeah, okay. It is stressful AF. Like it is not fun. So it's really important to make sure that like we're empathetic to whatever position that they're in and that we don't rush them. So even if it's 5 minutes before you close or 10 minutes after you close, don't rush them through this process. I know we all want to get out of there on time, but it's a big deal. So never rush somebody. Have any questions so far? No? Okay. Setting the tour, I've got a couple of tips and tricks for you. Number 1, when you're asking for the tour, ask for the tour today. That's creating urgency automatically. Like, yeah, how soon can you come and tour today? Doesn't have to be weird, just ask for it today. They'll either say yes or no. Once you get that, they'll be like, oh no, actually, I can't come and tour until Saturday. Okay, not a problem. Do you have a preference of morning or afternoon? From there, you can say, I do have a few tours already scheduled, but the morning time, I can squeeze you in at 10:15. So the reason why we do the 15 or 45 minutes is because it locks into somebody's head. There's research about this. It just like sticks into somebody's head so much more. So they're not like, oh, well, my tour is about 10 o'clock. They're like, oh no, my tour is at like 10:15. They're busy. I need to make sure I'm there. And if not, they're probably at least going to call you to let you know that they're late or to reschedule. So the 15 or 45 minute increments is really going to guarantee that they know it's important for them to come in and tour. And then just go above and beyond and ask if they need directions. It makes them feel like you care. Even if they already are from the area, you could say, absolutely, it does get a little confusing over in this area for the leasing office. So in that email I'm going to send you, confirmation tour appointment, I'm also going to include our office address. That way you just have to copy and paste it into Google Maps. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. They're going to say that. They're going to be like, wow, that's super cool. That's really nice. I don't have to Google it first. So couple of tips there. And then another tip, smiling. We just want to create that nice voice. That's how you do it. It's just smiling. You look like a damn fool, but it's okay. They don't see you looking like a fool. They just hear this nice person on the other side of the phone. And I don't know about you. I call, we all call over the phone, pay our phone bill, or maybe you call to like pay the electricity bill. And when that person does not smile, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that person is kind of a bee, or like they're having a bad day. You can just tell. So we never want somebody to hang up the phone with us and be like, wow, they weren't friendly. So just aim for that extra smile, extra personality. And then leading the call. This one is a lot harder to do, especially with parents. But if you think about it, most of these people who are searching for an apartment either have never searched for an apartment before, or this isn't something that we all just do all the time. Nobody likes moving, nobody likes apartment hunting. So this is something that like either they did a year ago or they've done a few times. They aren't the experts. They're calling because you're the expert. So you have to kind of, I picture myself like taking them by the hand and guiding them through this process. They don't know what they need to know. So it's your job to guide them through this call and to give them the information that they need. So you can easily take control of the call by saying my favorite thing. I don't know why. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't get your name. Okay, great. Just in case the phone's disconnected, what's the best number for you? And then I'm taking control immediately by asking their name. You know, people are like, oh yeah, I'm calling about your apartment. I have a couple of questions. Not a problem. What questions do you have? They ask their first question, and then I'm like, you know, I'm answering, and then I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to get your name. And you flipped it, you're taking control of the call. Now you're in control, and you can lead the way and guide them. When are you looking to move? What size of apartment were you looking for? And then it's yours. I will be careful about leading the call again with parents. You still want to lead the call because you're still the expert there, but don't try too hard if they're not giving up the control. It's okay after a few times to sit back, but I never just want to hear somebody be like, okay, yeah, what questions do you have? Okay. And then just silence waiting. Our goal is to really just be their guide, be their liaison. And then some things to remember. Number one, be confident. The whole point of this call is that you guys are new to your positions. So be confident in saying you're new. I think that's absolutely okay. Everybody's been new to a position before. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's my first day. It's my first week. That's a great question. Let me get that answer for you. I'll call you back. Again, we talked about that. You can be confident in not being confident. And I think that's okay. And then again, in like the questions that you ask when you're getting their name, phone number, and email, be confident when you get that, because I've heard some really awkward ways that people have asked, like, thanks, Amanda, do you have a last name? Who doesn't have a last name? We all have last names, right? It's like, unless you're Cher or some other more recent famous person, because apparently I'm old. But just be confident, be like, oh, absolutely, what's your name? What's your phone number? If you say, oh, can I get your phone number so I can follow up with you? If it was me, I'd be like, no, that's okay. I really don't want to be followed up with. But if you say, hey, yeah, what's the best phone number for you? I wouldn't think about it. I'm just like, oh yeah, 541-206-7437. That's my phone number. You guys need it. 2, passion. You have to be passionate about your property so that they know this is the right decision for them. And that's going to start with knowing your property and being a market leader. So do that. Gain passion, know that you're 10 steps, okay, probably more than 10 steps, 100 steps to campus. It's a 5-minute bike ride, whatever it is. Have that passion and really know your property and be excited to tell people about it. I love my property. Like my original property, it's my baby. You guys have great properties, but nobody competes to my property. That's just how I feel. And that's how I'm going to feel. You guys should feel the same way. Those are your properties. And Vanessa, who's under Stacy on this call, like she's kind of my comp, even though she was my sister property. Like Chase Village is my property. So a little part of me is still like, Chase is the best. Stadium Park is great though, I promise. It's an amazing property. Just get that passion. And then SAIL, this is an acronym. I'm not as big on acronyms as I am with quotes, but it's still good because it's a lot of what we talked about. So S is smile. You guys know that one already. A is ask. We have to determine their needs. We have to ask questions. And then the L, what comes after you ask a question? Listen. We have to make sure we're listening, that we're not just thinking about the next question. Listen to what they say. Make sure that we know that customer-centered approach. We know what they're looking for. That way we don't have to list the 30 amenities for them to be like, oh yeah, I like the gym. Ask them what they're looking for in an apartment. And then E is engage. Get them engaged, get them to laugh, get them to just throw themselves off a little bit. And, you know, it sounds weird that like you want to throw somebody off on a call a little bit, but what happens is they break down that wall and it kind of like lets their guard off. So again, it's not just like me, a leasing agent, and them, a customer. You know, you build that rapport once they kind of start laughing and smiling and, you know, just get them engaged in you and what you're talking about. And I do have a call example. I'm going to email these after just because it's a Friday and it's really busy on site today. I know in particular Stadium Park's got a lot going on. I'm sure the Cottages is pretty backed up. Phoenix Sac, it was really busy when I was there. I know it's been a little while, but you guys are always busy. So I'm going to send these, but pinky promise, everybody, I'm going to make you pinky promise actually like right now, that you guys are going to listen to this call later. Come on, Juliet. Pinky promise. Okay, you guys are pinky promising to listen to these calls later. I promise they're going to be super valuable. Take notes on one side of your piece of paper. That's what they did well. On the other side of the paper, take notes on where they could improve. I'll even include my notes for these calls on what they did well and where they can improve. So,
are you going to email that to us?
Yep, I'm going to email it. Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. This is going to be super helpful, and I'm going to tell you guys, click through, how you guys can improve and continue your growth. One, don't just listen to other people's calls, listen to your own calls. I hate listening to my calls, and I know I've got a good phone voice. I still hate listening to my calls. We all do. However, it's so important. And then we have to analyze them. Take those notes, take the same notes. What do you do well? What can you improve on? But always never forget to take the notes on what you do well. Even when you're striving for growth and improvements, we have to make sure that we don't lose sight of what we're already accomplishing. And then resources. Know your resources. Horizon Answers is going to be one of those resources. So you're going to go to the portal, you're going to go HRA Answers, you're going to go to leasing, and in there are a ton of resources for you. There are policies and procedures. I've got Craigslist cheat sheets in there. You can, you know, if you ever you want like a bunch of 100% phone calls to listen to, email training@horizonra or just me, and I'll send you over a bunch of examples so you can listen to them. If you ever have a difficult phone call or you have a great phone call and you just really want to share it, send it to me. I love listening to calls. Again, I'm a freak. I love phone calls. They're so much fun. So these are your resources that you have. I do want you to think about just your growth. What do you want to stop doing on phone calls? What do you want to start doing on phone calls? And what do you want to continue to do? So those things, think about those often. I can still, like after 5 years and loving phone calls, I can listen to a call, and this isn't to be like a downer because I know sometimes it sounds like one, but there's always room for improvements. Like, yeah, you can get 100% on a phone call, but there's always room for growth. So that's why it's really important to analyze and do all of that. And now that I've talked a lot, does anybody have any questions? We're at the end, so if you guys want to unmute and like chat.
By the way, Cher does have a last name, and it's Lloyd.
Well, thank you. I had no idea, but nobody knows. Like, who else knew that? Am I just really stupid and everybody else knew that? They just don't want to admit it.
No, I didn't know. I think there's 2 shares.
Is there 2 shares now?
I think there's like Cher from like the 60s and then Cher, the one that's like from the UK.
Oh, I was thinking Cher from the 60s, like long black hair.
Maybe I'm incorrect.
That's how old I am, you guys. I'm like referring back to this person from the 60s. I don't know I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who goes by like just their first name right now.
Rihanna?
Rihanna. Oh, Rihanna. I'm thinking like Tupac, but is his first name 2, second name Pac? Or like, you know, it was Snoop Dogg? Like Snoop Dogg? So.
Oh, man.
I love 90s hip hop and rap. So
yeah,
those are going to be what I refer back to. But thank you guys. I'm going to get that email out to you here in the next like 20 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can always Teams me, you can email me. You already have my phone number because I gave it to you. So you can even call or text me.
Let me get your number, please.
Yes. 541 206
206
7437.
7437. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I am a workaholic, so my laptop is with me usually at all times. My phone has Teams on it. I get the alerts. I get email alerts. My fiance gets really mad because at dinner, that's what I look at. So I'm always available for questions that you guys have.
Thank you, Claire.
Yes, thank you guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Happy freaking Friday.